As usual, when I start these, I like to introduce myself. I'm Stephen, Dr. Stephen Hairfield. Studied many years in India on the Tibetan path of Mahayana Buddhism. Mahayana is the path of compassion. All the messages that I share, whether they are in the pages of my books, which you can see right behind me, or when I do these videos, is about the divine truth of who we actually are as people. What I'd like to share with you today is something to me that's a common sense approach to self. I also work as an intuitive life coach with people literally all over the world. And I've heard so many people talk about this dilemma, this thing they cannot get over, or that thing that holds them back. And to myself, those are part of our experience. They're our teachers. That's what experience is about, so that we can learn, we can grow, and we can unfold into the truth of who we are. You see, a lot of people don't really understand that whatever their past was, that's what it was. It's certainly not what it is. The truth of my own self is a simple thing. I came from a very rough beginning in this world, you could say. I had a very abusive dad. I was his favorite target out of 5 children. I was the middle one, 2 in front of me and 2 behind me. And whatever any of the other ones did, it was always my fault. In fact, I had my first black eye at the age of 8, gifted to me by my dad. But you see, I don't dislike my dad. I have no hatred towards him whatsoever. In fact, I care for the man very deeply, even though he's no longer in our reality. That was his journey. I don't also play too much in the world of if it was this or it should have been that or it could have been whatever, because all of those are a waste of time and energy for each of us. My point with you is a lot of people claim that they cannot get over things. The truth is, yes, you can. All you have to do is change your perspective about it. You cannot erase a memory. You cannot unknow what you know. That's a fact. You cannot undo what you've done. That's also a fact. So carrying around guilt about it is a total waste of time. It disempowers us. When in reality, we are the most powerful thing in our reality. You see, I realized today, and I realized it actually a long time ago when I was studying in India, that my dad was an incredibly wonderful teacher. If for no other reason, I could say if it had not been for him, keeping in mind I don't ordinarily play that with myself, but because of him, it set my feet on an incredibly amazing and wonderful journey. It sent me to a place of the world with some incredible teachers, monks, Buddhist monks in northern India. And I realized back then that if it had not been for him, I would not probably have been in that part of the world. But any of that really can't be said. Why? Because I was simply in that part of the world. And I was there to find out why the Creator had singled me out, uh, seemingly to me, out of every human in the world. But what I realized was simply that he was a gift. He was my gift. My gift that would ensure that my feet went on a path of knowledge. And that's what I'm here to share with people about today. You can change who you are in the blink of an eye. Your past doesn't bind you. You bind yourself to the past. Either that or we bind ourselves to the future. But all of that is a waste of time. Why? Because you have to live where you are. That means in the present. That means right now. Here's where we sit. I'm talking to you right now. And to me, that's the only thing that absolutely exists. One of the things I know for certain is this. We all, at some point in the infinite idea of the universe, we're all created from the absolute implicit same source, which means that we're all pretty much alike in that extent. You could also say that each of us are an individual expression of a divine idea. Why are we in this world? Why do we have the experience that we do? To ensure that we all achieve our own individualized Christ consciousness as that individual expression of the divine. That's an option that each of us have absolutely every single day before us. And it's simply a choice, something that we can choose to do if we decide. We can live to a greater extent much more than we ever have. There's no difference between us and the one that we know as the Christ, or even the Buddha, and so many other masters that have walked this earth. You see, we are here to attain personal mastership. Personal mastership can never be attained as long as we allow the outer world to influence and control us. If we don't use the outer world as the gift that it was given to us for, that is the teacher. Our experience is the instructor, and the instruction. And all of those are given to us so that we can realize that we are not a limited source or resource, that we are as infinite as the cosmos itself. We are as divine as the original idea of creation, except none of us choose to go there. Maybe it's because we don't realize that we can. Maybe it's for whatever reason, but we all hold ourselves away from it. I think Marianne Williamson was the one that said it, that she felt that we were more afraid of how great we actually are, as opposed to who we are. But ironically to me, both of those ideas are true. We have a fear of being rejected, especially if we step into that divine resource that we all already are. See, here's something I know, and that's this, that in the idea of searching for consciousness, there's no such place known as there. In other words, you're here in the idea of what you want to become is there. Get rid of that. The reason you get rid of that is because there's no place to go. Wherever you go, there you are, which in fact is the fourth principle of karma. You can't avoid that. But the ironic thing is, most of us spend more time avoiding the truth of our own divine nature than we ever do decide to step into it. And stepping into it as easy as that. Stepping into the idea of the divine truth of you is as easy as just simply coming to that realization. Even in the idea of enlightenment or consciousness, it's not a journey, not really. It's just simply a recognition that that is already so. And then it's just simply accepting it. Once we do that, then all the small stuff starts getting out of our way, one idea at a time. And it's that small stuff. And the idea of the need of money, or the idea of being loved, or the idea of being accepted. Frankly, why should you care whether other people accept you or not? And I know on one hand that sounds kind of crass, but in truth, if you're not observant of that one simple idea of whether people accept you or not, if it bothers you if they don't, and it's okay if they do, you're actually not in control of your life. Everything outside of you is. Why? Because the need of acceptance by others. No. If you're in truth who you are, it doesn't matter whether people accept you or not. And here's the other funny thing. Why don't you just simply learn to accept others just for who they are? I mean, after all, if we do come from the divine seed, and we are that divine seed, and we are the divine in the flesh, why can you not accept others? Here's the funny thing. The moment you start accepting yourself first, it's easy to accept other people. When you look at life through the eyes of the divine, it's not that you're divine and nothing else is. The truth is, once you start looking at life through the divine side of your being, you realize that everything around you is divine in and of itself. Why? Because that's what it all is. A tree is divine. A bird is divine. A butterfly is divine. And here's the funny thing. They don't know any difference. We are the only thing in this reality that knows any difference in it all. We are the only thing in this reality that can make a conscious choice of what we wish to be, who we choose to be. At any given moment, we can do that. And the truth is, we travel from one state of being into another. And it's whatever you pursue in life is the very thing that determines how you live, who you are internally, which is much more important. You see, if we come to the idea that we are all divine and you live in that divine manner, your life simply becomes that, because we can make a conscious choice and no other living thing can. I mean, an apple tree has to be an apple tree, an oak tree can't be a maple. But you and I, we can literally become anything that we choose. And if you allow your past to keep you away from your own greatness, then all you've done is tethered yourself, tied yourself, if you will, to pain, agony, to something that's already gone by. If I still held on to what my dad did to me when I was at the age of 8 to 16, my goodness, I would still be stuck in that torment. In fact, I can honestly sit here and say, also because I'm a Vietnam vet, that modern psychology says I'm a manic depressive, but in all sincerity, I don't even know if I know what that is. I don't know if I've ever been depressed in my life. Yeah, maybe when I was a youngster, but as an adult, since being a monk, no. Why? Because I became single-pointed in my purpose. I wanted to know me. I didn't want to know me based on everything around me. I wanted to know me based on who I am, because that's who I am. And that is always in a constant state of unfolding. I shared with you on an earlier video that you, like I, like every living being, is perfect. We look at a tree and we know it's perfect, or that perfect sunset, or that perfect wave, or that perfect butterfly or perfect bird. But every time we look at ourselves, we do not see the same thing. And the reason is simple, because we're looking through the filters of our own experience. In that experience, we can change into anything we want it to become. If you ever decide in your life to live in that divine side of you, you'll find it magical. You'll find life will become a mystical experience in everything that you do, because you'll realize there's nothing out there in reality that anybody really truly needs to hold on to. You're not identified by your past any more than I am. I'm identified by who I am today. I'm identified by what I'm saying to you now. Any individual can also do the same. You see, in the original idea of creation, know this: you were created as an equal to all things. You are as equal to every single human as am I. Yes, some people can do things better than you, or whatever. None of that is not even relevant, because there's a lot of things in life that you, like I, can do that we may be better than someone else at it. That's fine. If you do that from an ego point of view, then all you're doing is celebrating your ego. But if you do it because that's who you are, then you're doing it because it's true. No one in this world can be you. No one. You don't have to be like everybody else. What everybody else does is what everybody else does, and that has absolutely zero to do with you. You see, if you want your life to be peaceful, then simply live in peace with you. Look, everybody's always talking about being healed or becoming whole or getting rid of this fragment or that fragment. Well, here's the funny thing. All of those fragments are just a piece of the whole puzzle, which is called you. If you want to live holistically, then see yourself whole, and your past has nothing to do with that. The future has nothing to do with that. It's what you do in this moment. When you learn to accept and love your own self and live in that perfect state of being to which you already are. You know, when I was traveling all over India and Nepal, I was looking for the secrets of life, the secrets to divine being. I can make you a promise. There are no such thing. There's no such thing as a secret. If it was, it would literally be that. It's all about recognition and realization. I was told by my teachers when I first entered the monasteries that there was nothing for me to look for. It was all already there. And if I ever realized to stop seeking and learning to allow and recognize that the path that I was traveling in this world would become much simpler. I didn't say easy. What I said was simpler, because life is simple. Analytical side of our being that tends to want to make it all complex. It's the analytical side of our mind that creates the monkey mind. That's the side of us that always wants to upplay or downplay whatever. But here's the funny thing. You don't have to do that. We all live through a level of indoctrination, whether it's through religion, whether it's through whatever. You see, I don't necessarily believe in the idea of God. I know there's a divine creation. Whatever that thing's name is totally irrelevant to me. I know one thing for certain. I'd rather believe in a divine creator and get on the other side and find out it's a bunch of baloney than I would not believe in it and get on the other side and find out it's real. Whoa, because then you got to face that thing. And it's going to talk to you big time, whatever that thing is. But what I know is this. In that divine creation, it gave us all the gift of self. And until we learn to recognize us or have self-recognition, not through the external world, but through your own experience and through you. Anytime you look in the mirror, you cannot deny that. I used to have raven jet black hair. Now look, I don't. Do I look at it and say I'm getting old? No. I look at it and say, wow, I've had a wonderful level of experience my entire life. I've had an amazing journey into the idea of consciousness. I work on an intuitive level. And I teach people all of this stuff day in and day out. I can sit here and tell you 100% of the time their lives change. And they would sit here and tell you that their lives have become magnificently simple and an ease to live. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Dr. Stephen Hairfield. I love communicating with people. It's time for us all to wake up. If you enjoy what I'm saying with you, please, I ask you that you share other people with other people who I am and where they can locate me. My name again is Stephen, and two simple Hindi words, Shanti Satyam, which in essence means peaceful truth. Thank you. Please share my videos, what I'm about to people. Let's help awaken this world to greet with open arms and heart the idea of 2012. Let's transform this world into what it was always intended to be. Thank you so much. You can find me at www.hairfield.com. You might want to check out my books, Metaphysical Interpretation of the Bible, and my newest one, The 12 Sacred Principles of Karma. Thank you once again. Please let others know. Thank you.